All right, hello there, fifth graders. Today we are multiplying mixed numbers. Now, hopefully you've already watched the video where I explained how to multiply mixed numbers. Now we're just doing some examples together. So all the examples I put on this paper, I'd like you to also do with me in your math notebook. First of all, let's do 1 1/3 times 2 2/3. So the first thing we do here is we change both mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we multiply 1 times 3, add the numerator, that gets us to 4. That's our new numerator, and the denominator stays the same. So 4/3 is just another way of writing 1 1/3. And again, we got 4/3 by multiplying our whole number times our denominator, adding our numerator. That gave us the new numerator of 4, and then the denominator 3 stays the same. We do that same thing here. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8, and the denominator 3 stays the same. Now we have 4/3 times 8/3. It means the same thing as 1 1/3 times 2 2/3, but now we can multiply our numerator times our numerator and our denominator times our denominator. 4 times 8 is 32, and 3 times 3 is 9. Remember that when we're multiplying fractions, we multiply our numerator times our numerator, and we multiply our denominator times our denominator. It's not like when you're adding and subtracting and the denominator just stays the same. You do multiply your denominators. Now we have an improper fraction as our answer, so we have to change it to a mixed or whole number by dividing our denominator into our numerator. 9 can fit into 32 3 times because 9 times 4 is 36, so that's too big. So 3 times 29 is 27. Now we have 32 minus 27, which is 5. This becomes our new numerator, whatever the remainder is, and the denominator, the divisor 9, is our denominator. So the answer is 3 5/9. Okay? So that's the answer, 3 5/9. Let's do another example together. This time let's do a fraction, just a regular fraction, times a mixed number. So this one, we don't have to change into an improper fraction because it's already a fraction. This one we do. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So that's our new numerator, and our denominator 4 stays the same. And we'll just rewrite this fraction down here so we can multiply it times this improper fraction. So now instead of 2/5 times 2 3/4, we have 2/5 times 11/4. But 2 3/4 and 11/4 is the same thing. This just makes it so that we can multiply it by this fraction. 2 times 11 is 22. 5 times 4 is 20. And you can see we have an improper fraction as our answer, and we can't leave it that way. We can't leave it with a numerator that's bigger than its denominator. So we have to divide the denominator into the numerator. 20 can fit into 22 one time. 1 times 20 is 20. 22 minus 20 is 2. And now excuse me for 1 second. Hi, sorry, I'm just recording a Zoom lesson right now. That's all right. Okay, so our remainder 2 becomes our new numerator, and the divisor 20 is our denominator. And this one we're actually not finished with yet. You can see the answer is 1 2/20. 2 and 20 will share a greatest common factor greater than 1. In fact, 2 is that greatest common factor. So we have to divide the numerator and denominator by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And so now that we've simplified the fraction 2/20 to 1/10, we have to give that fraction back to the whole number. And the final answer is 1 1/10. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's do 3 3/5 times 1/4. This is another one where we have a mixed number times a fraction. So we don't have to change 1/4, but we do have to change the mixed number 3 3/5 into a improper fraction. So 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18, and the denominator 5 stays the same. We need to multiply that by 1/4. Okay, 18 times 1 is 18. 5 times 4 is 20. And now we have 18/20 as our answer, but we know 18 and 20 will share the factor of 2 because they're both even numbers. So let's divide 18 and 20 by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So that's our final answer, 9/10. Let's do another example together. Hopefully all these examples are helping you. Let's do 2 1/2 times 4 1/5. So here we have a mixed number times a mixed number. So our first step is we have to change both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. That becomes our new numerator, and the denominator 2 stays the same. So we have 5/2 times 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. And the denominator 5 stays the same. Okay? Now, sometimes you end up in a situation like 5 times 21. You might not be able to do that in your head. And in that case, over on the side, you can just use your scratch paper. 21 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 105. That's our numerator. And our denominator, 2 times 5, is 10. Now, we definitely have an improper fraction here. Its head is way too big. So we have to divide the denominator into the numerator. 10 can fit into 10 one time. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. We bring down the 5. 10 can fit into 5 0 times. 0 times 10 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. That's our new numerator, 5. And the denominator is our divisor. So we have 10 5/10. But our fraction still needs to be simplified. We know 5 is exactly half of 10, which means 5/10 will simplify to 1/2. And now that 1/2 needs to be given back to the whole number. So the final answer is 10 1/2. Okay, that was the answer to 2 1/2 times 4 1/5. Let's do a couple more examples, maybe just one more example, and then I'll give you some independent work. Let's do 1 1/3 times 3 2/3. Oops, you can't even see it. There we go. 1 1/3 times 3 2/3. Go ahead and write that down. These are both mixed numbers, so we need to change them to improper fractions. We do that by multiplying the whole number times the denominator and adding the numerator. That becomes our new numerator, and the denominator 3 stays the same. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. The denominator 3 stays the same, times 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11. The denominator 3 stays the same. Now we multiply straight across. 4 times 11 is 44. 3 times 3 is 9. Definitely an improper fraction. 44 is definitely bigger than 9. That makes it an improper fraction, and we can't leave it like that. We have to divide the denominator into the numerator. And 9 can fit into 44 4 times, because 9 times 5 is 45. That's too big. 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, now we have 44 minus 36. You can borrow here and make this 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. And now our new numerator is 8, and our denominator is 9. And 8 and 9 won't have any common factors greater than 1, so it's already in simplest form. And the final answer is 4 8/9. Okay, I will go ahead and give you a couple independent practice problems now. Go ahead and do 4 2/5 times 1 3/4, and do 2 4/5 times 6 1/8. Go ahead and do those two problems independently, and then click on the next video attached underneath this one to see if you did them correctly. I will see you there. Signing off.